How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone's having a lovely day. So Mel Kiper Jr., his first round of the mock draft has been released, his first one of the year for the 2024 NFL draft, and it features the Cincinnati Bengals taking tackle out of Alabama, J.C. Latham, the first team All-SEC selection, the second team All-American selection, the 6'6", I missed him there. 360-pound monster of a man out there on the right side of the offensive line. An instant plug and play for the Cincinnati Bengals if he were to fall to said position. And you look at this guy and say, hey, man, there ain't nobody running him over. Well, we'll put it that way, right? Real quick, there ain't nobody running this man over. He has the power and the strength. A lot of people are comparing this guy's anchor to generational talent from that perspective of a skill set. And you don't want to say that too early in the draft, but he's got some great qualities. And there's and you watch this guy clear out the run lane, something the Bengals, obviously offensive line as well. You watch him clear out the run lanes, the run blitzes, the way he picks up the linebackers in the gap when, the way he has the ability to switch off players, push guys aside, open up the space for the running back. Oh, does that sound nice? Does that sound nice for this Cincinnati Bengals team that needs some support in the run game? Does that sound nice if there's a guy that can just keep defenders out of Joe Burrow's face, just overpower them? And that's what this guy's capable of doing. There's a lot of things to like about this guy. Even for his size, he's got some quickness. He's got some good footwork. He's got the ability to keep the guys out wide. The one thing, if there is the downside to worry about is you talk about, Alabama, they don't take the deep drop backs at the quarterback. And Bengals typically don't, as much either when you really think about it, because Burrow just ain't got the time to do it. But if they did, we ain't seen that kind of skill set brought out of him yet because he hasn't done it as much. You wonder how he does against that in the NFL, because you're going to see much more speed in the NFL. And that is the one thing you worry about. He looks like he can contain himself, but there's also times where it just looks like he's no word for it. There's often times where it just looks like, the other guy's finessing this guy because they've just got so much more speed and so much more agility and ability to get around him. And that's going to come with being 6'6", 360. Let's be frank. That's a big body. It's going to move a little bit slower. That's the one thing you worry about is, can the speed rushers of the NFL, the Micah Parsons of the world, get around this guy quickly? Besides that, who does he look at? Besides that, 20 years old, going to be 21 next season. You have to believe there's a chance. We even seen it last year where he leaned down a little bit, bulked up, or cut some of the fat, bulked up. And you have to imagine, again, he's capable of doing that some more. I mean, if you're an NFL team, you're like, man, if this guy can drop another 10, 20, so he can boost that speed up even a little bit more, that quickness up a little bit more, does that look appealing? But you have to remember, asking guys like this to cut weight is also kind of attributing to some of what makes them the elite player they are, because of that size and that strength and that ability to just bowl over guys and not allow them to get to the quarterback. Overall, though, I love this guy. I love the pick for the Bengals going for the right tackle position. If Jonah walks out the door, you bolster up the tackle position for years to come. You got Brown on one side, you got J.C. Latham on the other. Now the question becomes, do the Bengals get this guy? I mean, you look at the draft. There's a couple of tackles that go ahead of them. The teams that are selecting these tackles, I mean, you expect them to take a tackle. The one team that did not take a tackle in this board, that would surprise me if they didn't take a tackle in the NFL draft, is probably the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, you can look at the Giants, too, and say, hey, they need to bolster up that offensive line. There's two teams that didn't have them. You see the Titans take one. That's going to happen. Jets take an offensive lineman in this mock draft. Oh, that's got to happen. You watch your quarterback go down like Aaron Rodgers, you got to take an offensive lineman. Titans are wrecked by that offensive line weakness all season long. That's got to happen. So now you go back and say, hey, do the Giants take an offensive line? It makes sense. Makes sense. You got to protect Daniel Jones. He's going to do best if he's got some time to throw the football. But they do need some weapons out there. They haven't projected to take a wide receiver. If you go to the Raiders, though, they could not get the run game going. Their quarterbacks are getting demolished all season. It would surprise me if they didn't take a lineman. So it makes you wonder, if Latham's number 3 off the board, does he fall to the Bengals? If these teams, you never know how teams drop. Teams go off the board all the time. If these teams don't take him, the Bengals look like they're in prime position to get a really good offensive lineman in this draft. And oh boy, it'd be nice to see it. I'd love to see it. You get this guy in the first round. As much as you wouldn't mind going trenches, I mean, you got to pick where you could potentially go trenches in defense the second round. I have nothing wrong going trenches, period. just got to hit on those late picks. You see so many guys, even this year, you see the defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. The Rams got one on both sides up for the AP defensive rookie of the year and offensive rookie of the year. And both of them taken later in the draft. Puka Nacua, what was he, sixth round pick? Like, you hit on a couple of those, and that builds your future. Nonetheless, I like the pick. I like it a lot. Love y'all's thoughts. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.